Hey, did you send the link out so we can retweet it and stuff?
Oh yeah, that's right. I gotta do that now.
Yeah.
They don't play games. That's like it's insane. You remember the annual
Yep. It
showcase?
showed only
Like
what 20%, less
they
than
got
20% of the people
exposed.
bought Capcom games. Yeah. So they
Like,
don't. They ask for
yeah.
the games when the games come. They don't go out and support it because
Exactly.
Phil programmed them where it's either Game Pass or nothing.
Ugh.
What the fuck? At some point, we gotta call out what the real name for Passion Project is. Unfinished game. Broken game.
Yeah.
That's basically what it is.
Well, I'll be honest with you. With games like the Medium and Bleeding Edge and all that trash, and they cap for it, and they just they lie to themselves and say, "Oh, this is great. I'm loving it." Like they deserve more of that. I don't want Microsoft to give them good games. Just keep giving them what they're
Dude,
fucking worth.
Wait, hold on, hold on.
I
All right, hold on. Let's start the show. Hey, yo, everybody, it's Gaming Despair. I'm chilling right now with Crap Gamer, J Dub, and my dude Karaba, man. I've been playing the medium actually just recently. Actually, today morning, I woke up at like 5 and accidentally fucking woke up at 11. My bad. Almost been fucking podcasting shit. But yeah, it's been all right so far. Nothing crazy. What's up, Crap, J Dub, and Karaba, man?
So,
What's going on?
It's good. What's
how's it
good?
going, man?
Yeah, man, what you been playing, bro?
Appreciate the invite. You asked me to try out the medium, so I've been trying that out. It's here's the thing, right? Like, I don't even have a problem with the story. I think that that's okay. I have a problem with the controls and the camera. I just think that those are like something left from the '90s or something. The way it controls, it's just like I don't like it. I get stuck. I'm going one way, the camera will change, and then I'm accidentally walking the wrong way. Then you know what I mean? Like it just the gameplay. If the gameplay isn't there, then I have a problem with it. So like to me, like even if the story is okay, I just feel like the gameplay is like so like 4 gens ago. It controls like the original Resident Evil. You know that weird kind of stiff walking.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I'm having a trouble kind of adjusting that. Also, I'm having trouble adjusting to the frame rate because literally everything I've been playing has been like 60, 120 frames, and this is like 30 frames, and it feels just incredibly slow to me now. And it's very noticeable because of the TV that I've been using. I've been using the CX OLED, which everything has been feeling super smooth, and it has like VRR support and all this kind of good stuff. And when I play that, it's just like, geez, just like a completely different thing. And it's like I almost don't want to play it. But I'm gonna try and see if I can get through a little bit further. I think I got the first couple achievements on the game, and I'm just like, okay,
Yeah.
so look at something. Oh, okay, great. Look at something else. Oh, cool. Look at this. Oh, awesome. You know what I mean? Now, like, clunkily walk to the other room. Look at something. Oh,
Yep.
nice. Look at something. Cool. You know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know. I don't think that's my cup of tea, but, I'll try it a little bit longer to give it a little bit more of a chance. But
Yeah.
for me, I feel like so far what I've played, a lot of the reviews are pretty much spot on, probably about a 7 or so. Just like I don't feel like it's anything great. I don't feel like it's terrible. I just feel like the controls and stuff are kind of lackluster for 2021. Like I don't know, like not being able to control a camera angle these days. Really, I mean, I don't know. That's my opinion anyway.
Well, I mean, to be fair, like me personally, I grew up as a 90s kid, right? So I got a chance to play like, the Silent Hills, the Resident Evil ones and stuff like that. So for me, I'm kind of used to actually that game style where you have fixed camera angle. So that doesn't really bother me too much, but I'm trying to get further into it so I can actually give a legit score. But yeah, it's looking like a 780-ish. Hopefully it becomes better. So, we'll see
Yeah.
what it is. What's up with you, J-Dub?
Same old, same old. I played about 5-6 hours of the medium, and it's like a 7-8 hour game or something like that.
Yeah.
And I had to force myself through it. I hate to say it, but I'm used to playing a bunch of high end, top shelf quality games, and I tried it. I tried it. I gave it a chance. But kind of like what Crap said, I mean, the animations are janky, the control is wonky. It does remind you of Resident Evil 1, and that wouldn't be so bad if this was advertised as a retro style game. this was advertised as a next gen only game. And it can't be done on any other console but this one because it has the dual screens and we're doing all of this stuff and and the low resolution, the 900p, make me put my glasses on. It's a mess, and it's for some people. It's just not for me. It's not what I'm used to, and it's not what I'm asking for. From Xbox. When you spend $500-$600 on a console, on the world's most powerful console, you expect to see and to feel next generation, world's most powerful stuff, and this is just not it.
I mean, it's probably the most powerful Xbox, but shit. Aside from that, I was actually going to add something to that. But you don't mind the gameplay or anything like that, right? The story wise so far.
Well, see, here's the thing, right? I didn't know what to expect in the beginning. I didn't know it was going to be a walking simulator. It's literally a walking simulator, no combat or anything like that. So, I'm okay with the story so far. It's okay. I mean, maybe some people can get into it. Again, you gotta manage your expectations on what you expected from this game. It's not scary. Suspenseful at times. You want to figure out what's going to happen next or whatever, but it's mid. I hate to say it, and
but it's not a bad game though, right?
It's all subjective. I'm just saying. We're splitting hairs here. It's all subjective, and I'm just going to put that. I'm going to leave it with that. It's subjective. I'm just going to be honest. To me, right, I would rather play Sea of Thieves.
Wow.
All right, hold on. Before I go to Omar, the Medium, is it on Xbox One or just the next generation consoles?
No, it's next gen only.
All right, okay.
It couldn't be done on Xbox One, I was told.
All right, then. All right, let's go to Omar, man. What's going on, brother?
Sup? I finished a game called Yon Quan. It's an Chinese game. It got 7 installments, and yeah, despite the fact I'm new to the series, I really enjoyed it. It's a double A. You're not going to get well. You actually get a lot for a double A title. Story good, voice acting is on point. No glitches, no bugs, no FPS drop, no anything like that. You can quote unquote call it a passion project that is actually a passion project.
Oh,
And I really enjoyed it. And now I'm playing a game called Sakuna of Rise and Ruin.
the one you recommended me.
Yeah. You're not the first person I recommended to. I recommended last night to Ray as well.
Yeah, definitely. I've seen it. I've seen the trailers before and stuff like that, so I'm definitely willing to check it out. Oh, and shout out to in the chat, Mooch and King Thrash.
Yeah, King
which
Shark was the first one to get that game. He got
he
it
is.
even before the original release. He played it on his channel.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I really like it because so without spoiling anything, it got 2 play style. One play style is a 2D fighting 2D dungeon game where you're attacking enemies. On the other hand, you're literally farming.
Yeah.
It clean crazy. It sounds crazy, but it actually works. And it works surprisingly well. And yeah, I'm having a blast with it. But about that, I want to say something about how all of you guys are playing the medium. And some of you are literally forcing yourself to play it because you're not having enjoyment out of it. So then my question to you is, why? Is it to showcase that we tried it didn't work, it's not what I like, and that's it? But
nah, man, you know what it is? You know what it is? It's J-Dub and Crap Gamer trying to break Xbox legs and shit. That's what it is, man.
Well, no, I
Like-
wasn't even gonna download it, man. You were like, oh man, you gotta at least try it, and I was like, I guess I'll download it and
Like-
try it. But like originally, I wasn't even gonna download it because it's not really my cup of tea. But you know, like I was like, well, I'll download it and see exactly what the deal is. Like Mooch was streaming it yesterday as well, and it just like it's boring to watch as it is to play. You know, it's just like for me anyway. I don't know. It's like a lot of the games that I like are, you know, they got to grab you right away, and the medium didn't really do that for me. You know, it's like I like God of War, for instance, 2018. Man, you start off that in a badass fight. You know, like that grabs your ass right away. You know, you know, a lot of games start off that way, and you know, this is just one of those games that doesn't. And I think maybe it wouldn't have been as bad if it wasn't hyped up as like this big first next gen kind of thing. But the graphics, to be honest with you, don't look anything spectacular. The frame rate isn't anything to write home about. And just in general, it's just kind of like a mid kind of experience. And it'll be a mid experience when it comes to PlayStation 5 later this year. You know, like I think, again, just like when like it's so similar to when Blair Witch came out and Xbox fans were hyping that game up. And then they got a low score and they pretended like they didn't hype it up. And then when it came to PlayStation 3 months later, they're like, we never were excited for that game. We never said it was an exclusive. It's like, you know, I mean, thankfully, Jay saves a lot of stuff. You know what I mean? So you see a lot of the people, they look stupid because they said it. It's like, look, we get it. You know, Microsoft has these little deals with these AA games. That's fine. But don't act like you didn't hype this stuff up because you did. And so for me personally, you know, it's kind of a mid experience. I doubt 100% that I ever finish it. I will play it a little bit more, however, just to see what I can get into. It doesn't look like the achievements are very hard. So that could be something that helps me tough out a little bit further. But for the most part, I just think it's very much a like mid, like AA title for me personally.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think it's bad, like I said, but you know what? You force yourself to play the game. I'm not gonna say, but
yeah, I did. I'm not gonna lie, I did, and I did for a reason. For one, before I give my opinion on the game, I want to make sure I play it, and that's why I've played, you know, the Sea of Thieves, the Battletoads, the Bleeding Edges, and the rest of the duds, right? Because I want to get an honest opinion. Okay, well, there are some games that are not for everybody, and maybe it's for me. So I gave it an opportunity. I spent hours on it, longer than a lot of other people, and then I just said, you know what, I can't fake it anymore. The game's trash. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Well, it too, Jay, because like obviously you're testing these games out, even though some people call it crap or whatnot, but at least you can have the balls to say like, hey, I actually played the fucking game. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Go ahead, Omar.
That's why I got an Xbox in general, guys. Like I wasn't gonna. There's no way if I didn't do content creation, there's no damn way I would have spent $500+ on an Xbox right now because I've spent a total of 12 hours on actual games on it, and you know, but I just felt like I couldn't do with Xbox to what I did with PS4, which was I didn't get a PS4 until a couple years into the generation, but I talked mad shit about the PS4 for years before I even got one. So I was like, I don't want to do that again. So basically that's why I got one. You know what I mean? I got an Xbox Series X so that I could talk to me. I don't know, you know, it's almost like an expansion of the One X. You know, I've played Call of Duty, which you could really feel the frame rate difference in and stuff like that. But most of all, like due to the same UI, and I was too lazy to hook up my Elite controller. So the controller that comes with the Xbox Series X and the Xbox Series S, they feel cheaper than the old controllers. They're a little bit more plastic, and they click when you use the buttons. They're it's very loud. You know, like anybody will tell you it's super loud, especially the D-pad. You start clicking on that thing, man. It's like click, 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 click. I'm like, damn, man, that's loud. You know, so yeah, like for me personally, you know, I probably, if I was just an average gamer, I probably would have held off on getting it until maybe Halo or maybe Fable or something along those lines. So, you know, I could definitely see why people would wait and feel like, you know, maybe you don't need it right now. But there's also that feel of, you know, fear of missing out, and I feel like a lot of people have that. If you're like a hardcore gamer, I get that urge to like play it and get it right now, that FOMO. You know, you're like, oh damn, I don't want to miss it. You know, you're gonna, and then when you get it, you're just like, that's how I feel a little bit right now with it. I'm looking at this damn thing, I use it to watch Netflix or whatever, and I'm just like, man, I really, I'm not missing anything with this, you know? So,
Yeah.
if anybody's out there is like, you don't have one, you're not missing anything right now. You know, I'm just saying, you know.
Yep.
No, yeah, definitely. I get what you're saying. And just to throw this out
But-
there before I go to Omar, because you wanted to say something, is there anything really different between the Xbox Series X or S controller compared to the Xbox One, or is it the same thing but just with the share button?
The grip, it has textured triggers and textured underside, but that's it.
What the hell does that even mean?
Well, the little dots, kind of like the little. They basically just made it kind of rubberized or grippy in
Okay.
those particular areas in the D-pad. But
Don't
Gotcha.
forget about the inferior share button.
oh yeah. Still, there's still no sharing to YouTube or anything like that. So that's a big downer.
Gotcha. All right. You know what? I might as well call this the pissed off podcast because the only reason I made this show was because there was things that were kind of upsetting me. Like for one,
But
the whole price. Go ahead, Omar.
I will just say this. I tried, and what I'm talking about is I tried Battletoad. And I watched the Kumar play it and finish it. And I just couldn't finish it. Not because the game is difficult or something like that. No, because I saw what the game is trying to do. They're literally making me play the same mini game over and over again just to pass the game.
Yeah.
And it's not fun. And when
It
I
didn't
tell-
have online multiplayer too, so that was a big deal, right?
Yeah,
Wait,
but
hold on, Omar. It's not Game of the Year material or what?
Oh man.
Battletoad? Absolutely not.
I'm just
And
playing
because
around.
here is the thing, it's not about Metacritic. I don't give a fuck about Metacritic. I love Days Gone. Days Gone is a 9 for me.
Yeah.
I platinum Days Gone. And what? It was 71 on Metacritic or something like that. Metacritic is not something you need to take seriously. However, actual actual gameplay on YouTube, that is something you need to take seriously. Then you can judge what is finished, what is unfinished game. And yeah, when you look at a game like Battletoad, it's just not what people want.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then you get the medium, and it's like, at some point we gotta be honest about this whole quote unquote passion project. They are not passion projects. They are simply unbroken, unfinished games. And
Yes.
when
Yes.
you're done with it, you throw it away in the trash. A la Bleeding Edge. Look what happened to that game.
Yeah.
Dead.
And like
Why-
grounded and shit like that.
Why waste your energy, your time, your money on a game that's going to be dead in what? A few,
But you know-
not even a year. It's
But
like
sometimes Omar, we like to give the games a chance, but then they don't really lead to the expectations and stuff like that. You know what I mean?
But
I-
but that's not always the case. Just to be fair, because you have fodder that was thrown in there, like well, not really, because you had games like Sea of Thieves, right? It came out bare bones, and just over time, it turned into being something that people would like. And they're hoping if they just keep throwing fodder out there, some of the stuff is going to be good, some of the stuff is going to be bad, but they're just throwing stuff at the wall, seeing what if it sticks. So that's kind of Phil's model right now. Is just throw as much stuff in, at people and see what sticks. Yeah, it's low quality, but you know what? If they don't complain, then we'll keep doing it, and that's Phil's philosophy, and it's been working for him thus far.
shit.
For me.
I mean, you have literally people defending the price hike. What do you?
Actually, Omar, before you start that's what I wanted to talk about because that's something that's been bothering me, right? I'm not saying this. Okay, just so everybody knows, I don't hate Xbox, all right? Like, I do want them to do well. I just never owned an Xbox. I just play on PC. But when it comes to the price hike, I noticed that a lot of quote-unquote X-bot people, all they're pretty much is just saying that we're paying, on the Sony side, we're paying $70 a game, right? But come on, let's be realistic. MLB, NBA 2K, sports games. If a game like GTA 6 came out, it's not coming out the Game Pass day one, man. You're still gonna have to pay $70 for that shit. So come on, man, relax with that shit. As far as the price hike goes, it doesn't really bother me too much. I mean, just like $10 more, but that's just me, I guess.
Well, I'll just weigh in on it, and that's the $70 thing. Should you want a game to be $70? No, but is it going to happen? Yes. It started with was it 2K, NBA 2K?
Yeah,
It
NBA
went it,
2K.
it went to Madden. I hate to say it, but those two companies is there. Once Call of Duty and the rest of it's already happened. It's done. There is no going back once you get the big behemoths of the gaming world commit to it. It is what it is. Now you can say, well, sure, they can be $70, but I don't want Microsoft games to be $70, or I don't want Sony games to be $70. Then
But
you realize, well, watch this. Then you realize, well, look, those games that are $70 are what? The Madden, the 2Ks, the cards, the same rehash game from every year that we complain about every year. We're willing to spend $70 on those games, and we do because we can lie and say, "Oh, I don't buy that," but the numbers show that each one of those games passed the previous game. So obviously, something is happening there. Now, here's when it comes to me. I'll buy $70 games if I perceive it's worth it. And so
yeah,
because the price has increased to $70, I'm more skeptical about what game I buy. So I wouldn't buy some teeny weeny game that's trying to charge me $70, but I'm going to scrutinize. Okay, $70 for this game, but I did buy $70. I bought Demon Souls. I definitely feel like it was worth $70. It gave me the next generation experience that I asked for and I wanted. I had no problems with it. Godfall, I paid $70 for that game. It gave me the next generation graphics and the controls and the features that I wanted in it. I feel like it was worth my money. I love the game. That's just me. Everybody else has their own opinion, but we can't continue right to ask these developers to create bigger, more advanced game. Bigger. We want bigger and we want better everything, but they're not going to increase the price. So there's only two ways they're going to do it. Either they're going to throw a bunch of microtransactions and loot crates in there, or they're going to increase the price by $10. And let's face it, most of us have always bought the deluxe edition or the collector's editions of games anyway.
or just even day one, just to begin with.
Exactly.
Not me.
Now,
I don't play COD.
for Xbox, right? They have Game Pass, and they think that everything is going into Game Pass, so therefore they don't see a value of buying any games. Or a lot of them, not everyone, but a lot of them. That's what we've been hearing out there.
And that's what I was talking about, J-Dub. Like what I'm trying to say is that basically some of these people think that these blockbuster games like GTA or 2K or sports games, where the fuck it is, right? They think that it's gonna come to Game Pass day one. Hell no, dude. These fucking companies want to make their fucking money. You know what I'm saying? They're not gonna put it on Game Pass day one. It's the same thing with PlayStation now. I get why PlayStation doesn't do it. Let's face it though. Let me get on to the point. Game Pass and fucking and PS Now, they're very niche. They're very niche, bro. Like nobody really has them because like the casuals, they don't give a shit about like these smaller titles that come on, right? They only care about like the CODs, the Battlefields, or where the fuck it is. Maybe fucking new sports games, some bullshit like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's primarily it. Yeah,
let's face it. Outside of like you said, the cards, the Battlefields, the
Sports
NBA
games.
2Ks, the sports games and stuff like that. Majority of people don't care about the smaller type games. And if you care about the smaller type games, then guess what? Maybe Game Pass is for you. Maybe Xbox is for you because if you go to Game Pass, there's a ton of that stuff there.
Yeah,
I'm not saying it's good or not, but it's a lot of the smaller games there. PC is where it's a lot of smaller games. You can have it's a million pieces of smaller games, preview games, early access games. So maybe that's where a person needs to be. $10 is not a make or break for me, but I can see me because I've looked at a lot of titles that were $70, and I'm like, nah, I won't spend $70. I'll wait for the price to go down, or wait for me to get some points build up or something like that before I buy it. And that's just me, my own personal preference. Not every game is going to give you that For example, a lot of Sony's first party games, a lot of gamers will tell you they're definitely worth $70, right? We're about to get Gran Turismo 7. We're about to get
Returnal.
Returnal. We're about to get Horizon Forbidden West.
And by the way, hey, Jay does. Those are all first day for me. Honestly, bro, I don't care about paying.
For most people. Exactly. But to a gamer, to be fair to all gamers, there is no price too high for a great game that a gamer sees fit, right? I've spent $140 on some PC games for early access and early content and all kind of stuff because I saw the vision of the game and I really like what they were trying to do and I supported it. That's just what gamers do. Now, if it's a game that you're not interested in, of course you won't. You probably won't spend $30 for the game if you're not interested in it. But you can't get upset when other people find value in spending, extra $10 to get a true next generation experience, a next generation. But for example, we got Control Ultimate coming to the PlayStation 5 at midnight. It has the ray tracing and all the next generation resolution and features and stuff like that, and that's free.
Yeah.
For PlayStation 5 owners, for the PlayStation owners, you can't be free, right? But there's some poor guy that, unfortunately, he paid $70 or maybe $100 for the Ultimate Edition at launch of Control when it launched last year, the year before, whenever it launched.
Yeah.
So some people will be willing to just wait, and others have to have a day one.
Gotcha. And I want to say what's up to Brian Carter. He said, and I don't think it's worth the money. Like, I'll wait for a sale and price drop. Hey, dude, there's nothing wrong with waiting for a sale drop, honestly. I mean, sometimes people have financial difficulties or whatever the fuck it is, right? But some of us, we like to get our shit day one. And to me, $70, I mean, just $10 more, it's not a really big deal. Oh, what's up, Salty Gaming?
And also, not every game is going to be worth it for $70.
Yes. I agree.
And it's at some point we're gonna be selected. It's going to be selective. Which game do you find it worth it to be 70, and which game would not? Some people would say Horizon Forbidden West shouldn't be 70. Others would say what's called Gran Turismo doesn't need to be 70. It's all up to you. What do you want to buy? You buy. Simple.
Yeah. I mean, I just want to throw this out there, Crap Gamer, before you go. I just want to say that for me, I'm just speculating to this. I'm not saying that it's right or wrong, but I think Horizon Forbidden West and God of War, they're going to be at 60 price range because they're not going to fully utilize the whole PS5 architecture. That's just my take.
Yeah, it could be. For me personally, though, getting into this, it's like the first thing is it's a deflection by Xbox fans. You had Phil Spencer and Microsoft try to do a 100% price increase on Xbox Live Gold without giving anybody a singular piece of added value for doing that, and just out of the blue. And first of all, they were very shady.
No. Just to interrupt you a little bit, this was not out of the blue. This was calculated. They planned this.
Well, yeah. Listen, I mean, just the day that they did, but I mean, they sent out these things and they didn't tell anybody well in advance, okay? Because last year they took away the option for the $60 1 year on Xbox Live itself, right? And people were like, "What's this mean?" And you had people go, "Well, they're going to drop Xbox Live. It's going to be free. It's going to be free." Of course, that never came about. Then all of a sudden, they double the price, and within that same day, they see the feedback, and they decide to go ahead and kind of pull that back and go, "We're sorry, and we're also going to make free-to-play games free, like it should have been." And then you had all the Xbox fans go, "Man, Microsoft, they really listened. They're paying attention." Well, listen, Xbox fans, well, I don't know about Xbox fans, but people have been asking them to eliminate the free-to-play aspect for years. Yeah, it's not nothing new. And the fact of the matter is, Microsoft saw how bad they looked when myself and others were going, so to play Fortnite on Xbox, it costs $120 a year, and literally it's free on any other platform. The Switch, the PS4, PS5, PC, mobile. The only place it's going to cost a new player money to play is Xbox, and it was going to cost them $120. So, they really kind of dug themselves into that pit. And so Xbox fanboys will automatically switch that over to something that PlayStation does, right? And they'll go, "Well, you didn't care when they charged $70." Listen, people cared like in long term, like they were going to do it. Like that's something that people are going to have to put up with or vote with your wallet. And if it doesn't go over well, they'll lower the price. But the bottom line is games have been that price, $60 for as long as I can remember. And even back in the day, some cartridge-based games were even more than that. So, I don't really look at it as not needed. If you look at stuff, look at Last of Us 1 versus 2, like the scope and the depth and everything that goes into that game. Okay. Mm-hmm. Both of those are $60 games, but The Last of Us 1 is like a 10-hour game. The Last of Us 2 is like a 30+ hour game. Okay. Yeah. And how do we expect these developers to put all these time and effort and everything into these games and the quality that we get and then not have, make some money for it, especially when it comes to the day and age, used games are still a thing. And, they're trying to give us reasons to keep playing these games. And I just feel like, was I happy about it? Was I cheerleading it? No. But did I understand it? Yeah. You know what I mean? And you're talking about a 14% increase versus a 100% increase. And Sony isn't the industry. They just did what everybody else did. And I also like to point out that we don't know what Microsoft is going to charge for their next gen AAA titles because they haven't had any, right? Yeah. Like we don't know. Like I always thought that like it was ridiculous for anybody to say otherwise. Like, oh my God, like listen, what have they released this next gen for AAA? Nothing.
They remember they literally asked what's his name? Aaron Greenberg? Aaron Greenberg about the price. And Greenberg was like, it doesn't matter what the price is going to be because games will be on Game Pass. Which that's basically saying it's going to be 70. But they didn't want to say it because they were not willing to get that shitstorm.
It's crazy though, because that Microsoft really wanted to push that, and they came out and they were saying, sorry for everything that's been going on. We're dropping the price and this and that, and then you guys get the free to play games for free now. Those motherfuckers really wanted to fucking push it and see if you guys would actually buy that shit for fucking double the price on Game Pass. I mean, not Game Pass, on Xbox Live.
Yep, and there was just so many Xbox guys that didn't find a problem with it. They didn't have a problem with it.
Yeah,
hey, it's okay. But then you ask a person to spend an extra $10 for a truly next generation experience, and it's like, no, I can't do it. It needs to be free in Game Pass. And it's like, come on, man.
Free on Game Pass. That's hilarious.
That's all I hear these days. I'll just wait for it to come to Game Pass. Like every single game is coming to Game Pass. They don't even have the Falconeer in Game Pass. Which, by the way, I was looking to stream that game and I couldn't find it, and I'm surely wasn't going to spend.
You lucked out.
Worth $30. Yeah.
Wait a minute, hold on. Is Falconeer supposed to be a Microsoft game, or what is it?
It's Microsoft next gen exclusive.
But it's not on Game Pass.
It's not on Game Pass.
What the fuck? I thought it
How
was.
is it not on Game Pass?
Because the funny thing is that game was made by one person, and I actually got a review code and reviewed that game, and like despite the graphical things being kind of cool, like I think it's but the actual gameplay itself is such a steep learning curve. It makes it not fun. So I understand it because they pushed it, and I think it might go 120 frames or something like that. Yeah, but like that's where the interesting stuff ends with that game. It's just not a good game at all. And that is a little bit weird that they kind of pushed that game.
Yeah,
that they pushed that game and that it's not really not on Game Pass, and two, just not a good game. It's like, at some point I wish Microsoft would get at. And Microsoft does that stupid thing that Sony did at the beginning of the last generation where they hype these indie games. And I bitched at Sony for that too, right? Like Sony, like I get it. Like they really benefited from Microsoft, like shooting themselves in the foot at the beginning of the generation. But it's like Microsoft now, it just seems like they're content with talking about it. Well, we've got the Medium and Scorn, and we've got that Dolphin game that goes 120 frames, and it's like all these games that literally like nobody cares about. And B, like you don't even need an Xbox Series X to play that stuff. This stuff looks like it could be played on a 360. If you get a new console, man, like I just think that people want stuff that showcases it. I don't have a problem with smaller games, but give me something that sits alongside that in a big AAA space that really showcases what this new console can do. And I feel like Microsoft has completely failed to do that. And again, I just feel like that's solely on Microsoft, because when you look at how long it takes to create these consoles, you're looking at 3 to 5 years from the planning stages to fruition. And in that entire time, Microsoft, their only idea for an exclusive was Halo. Like, I find that hard to believe. Like, I don't understand why they wouldn't think, well, maybe we should come out and make sure we have this type of game, that type of game. Listen, 3-4 years ago, why not contact EA, make a deal, get Titanfall 3 exclusive to your platform again? Why not go and talk to Capcom and get Dead Rising 5 or whatever it is exclusive to your platform? Why not go to Crytek? They're literally doing Bupkis and rework a Rise 2. Why not go to Remedy and get an Alan Wake 2? Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, they could have got this stuff done years ago, and I just don't understand what they were thinking this entire time. Like, games are the most important thing, and I do think that like features and stuff like that are cool, but they're not as cool as the games themselves. Like, I can't play Quick Resume. You got to have stuff actually out there to enjoy that. So for me personally, I do really feel like that's something that Microsoft dropped the ball on, and I hope that they kind of get it right. But again, this year is going to be a year where they're counting on like these third-party games and these little small games, and I don't really think that those are stuff that they should be like bragging about. I've always felt that way. So I hope that we can get something. I hope Halo's good.
Yeah, I was just going to bring that up. It's unfortunate that they have to rely back on Halo again for making this year somewhat decent, right? After a bunch of 60s and 70s, a bunch of 60s games thrown out there to die, we're going to get Halo at the end of the year, hopefully. And the way that thing is progressing, and from all the debacle that happened, I don't think that 1 year is enough for it to come out and be the masterpiece that they needed it to be.
There's a good chance it probably won't.
Yeah. Well, once we all know, right? Once games and studios start having issues and all that stuff, man, it's hard for them to reel it in and pull it back and for it to be great. So, fingers crossed. I hope it is. But here's the thing: the fan base. It doesn't matter how the game drops. The fan base is going to love it. They're going to cheer it on, just like they did Bleeding Edge, the Falconeer, just like they did, the rest of the fodder. They're just going to save face and, oh my God, it's the greatest. And then and just wait, like they said, let's wait 3 or 4 years till the good games really come,
Yeah, definitely. And to be fair,
wait for E3 all over again. But instead for wait for E3, it's wait for game. It's like, why are you even on the platform if you don't play the game? And it's insane. And one more thing, and this is so funny. We all know why they raised the price for the
Xbox
Go.
Live.
Yeah, because they want to push you toward Game Pass. But the funny part is, if Game Pass is so inviting, why would you even need a price hike? And what even more crazy is, for the longest, people said they can't they can't stop stop what they're doing, putting their games behind a paywall, the free game behind a paywall, because they need that money for for maintenance and everything like that, infrastructure for the internet service. Yet with the switch of a button, they literally stop free games from being behind paywall. Like, this was pure greed, nothing more. And people have been okay with it. If you don't vote with your wallet, nothing will change.
I don't know. It's just like, there's something I got to say about that, and it's something that Crap Gamer said too. The thing is that for some reason, I have this thing that I just don't bond well with the Xbox. Like, for instance, like, I think that Xbox, for instance, they're not very innovative for instance, the controller is pretty much the same shit with the what's it called, share button, right? And then they just seemed that the only thing they could cater to was pretty much by developers. The thing is, what I want Microsoft to do is, start a studio from the ground up and man, see where it goes from there instead of just thinking, oh, I'm just gonna throw money on this studio and buy them off and shit like that. I just want to see more innovation.
They want to buy every studio under the sun. Like in a span of 1 week, we have rumors of them focusing on Sega and Capcom and all that jazz, and they didn't have yet to finalize the deal with Bethesda. It's like, why do you even need so many studios for? Like
And the
the
thing is,
Bethesda buyout, okay, fair. Now you got enough, enough studios to do your thing. Why do
and
you even need more studios?
initiative. Or is
Well,
that
I
Beast
think
Brother?
I think that they're trying to make sure that they have studios because I think Microsoft's end game is Game Pass just being everywhere. And I think that they want to be more third party. Yeah, they want to be more third party than anything. So I feel like they're playing long term for years from now. Where I bet their hope is no console. They like if you look at what they do. For their console, it's basically PC anyway. Look at the games that they push: Flight Simulator, Gears Tactics. They push these play older games better. That's all stuff that's traditionally PC players that would basically kind of brag about. And I feel like the crossplay stuff, keyboard and mouse. This is like PC stuff. Like I felt for years that they've kind of tried to push people over towards the PC side of things. And that could be kind of what they're trying to do a little bit. And not just PC, but they've already said it. They want Xbox to be an app on a TV. It's an app on a phone. They want you to play your games anywhere you want, anyhow you want, with any device you want. We've heard Phil Spencer, you can play a drinking game every time he says it. You know what I mean? Like this is, that's their future for that. And I think it's a little bit odd and I think it's a little bit different. I don't think it's going to be as widely accepted. For me, when I saw that their results for, they made a bunch of money last quarter, it was a little bit disappointing. Not because I want them to fail, but because they made money while they had nothing.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to celebrate that or be happy about that. Like they really had nothing. And like they haven't had a game, a AAA release in 515 days. That's a long time. And, I just feel like they kind of get away with it. I don't like seeing that happen. No point in time has Xbox ever gone, 2 years between AAA releases. And it looks like they might do that. If Halo doesn't come out till like October or something, it'll be over 2 years between Gears of War 5 and Halo. And then once again, it's like Gears and then Halo. And then who knows what they're going to do with the Bethesda stuff? Is that going to be exclusive? Does anybody trust Microsoft to make all that stuff just exclusive to Xbox and PC? Let's just be real. Like the xCloud stuff, that shit doesn't even matter. The app stuff, Sony did that stuff last gen. Nobody cared. I think Microsoft's doing it now. Nobody's really going to care. But it's like, are they really going to keep that stuff off of PlayStation? I think Phil Spencer in his head thinks the value proposition of, well, if you're on quote unquote Xbox, you can play this through Game Pass day and date, or pay $60, $70 for it on PS5 or whatever, and that's a better value for Xbox gamers. I don't think he really cares about keeping the games away from PlayStation gamers as much as he wants to give it as a value to Xbox gamers. Well, if you're an Xbox and you have, Game Pass, you can play it day and date, and I think that's probably his, sort of what he's thinking, and his thinking is with that. You know what I mean? And I kind of disagree with that wholeheartedly. I think that if you're selling hardware, you should give people a reason to buy it. You know what I mean? And he fails to really do that.
And it's funny you mentioned hardware because sometimes I even think to myself, would there be another Xbox after this one? And you're spot on pretty much what you're saying when it comes to Xbox kind of wanting everything on everything. And I could possibly see that happening if they're not actually making as much money as they would like to. So could we see Game Pass going to PlayStation or Nintendo or something like that? I mean, it's possible.
I mean,
they offered it up once before. They
There was
offered
a
us once
rumor.
before, earlier. I think the last year before last, whatever. And then both Nintendo and Sony turned it down at the time.
Yeah.
The only way I can see them accepting Game Pass, right, is if Microsoft decides to get out of the hardware business because that's the business that they're fully engaged in competition on. And it's like, okay, you give up your hardware, you no longer make hardware. That means, we get a bigger pot of the hardware market, and we'll allow your app to run, on our system, and we'll share the profits from that.
Yeah.
I don't see that. But here's the thing: Microsoft just don't have any games that a lot of people would really want, and that's the essence, right? That's why Microsoft is even in the predicament it is because they don't have any games. But the hardware has never really been an issue. They've always made pretty decent hardware, good hardware, even when it was not the best. It was really about the games. Even last generation with Xbox One, with the OG Xbox One, we still had amazing games graphically. We had Rise, we had Titanfall, and Sunset Overdrive and stuff like that. Forza.
Yeah.
So
Sunset
you
Overdrive,
can't really say that it was totally the hardware is the reason it failed. No, it failed because they didn't invest for like 3 whole years. They didn't invest. They didn't produce any IPs, and now they're behind both Sony and Nintendo by 3 years. Right? They're behind. It took them 3 years. They sat on their hands doing that and trying to figure out if they were going to stay in the gaming business or not. And they finally, from what I hear, decided, okay, we're going to stay in the business. Well, now guess what? You're 3 years behind because Sony is continuously, obtaining more studios, nourishing their talent that they have in their studios. They have some of the best studios in the world.
I mean, yeah, no giving
the
fact.
best partnership in the world. We got Final Fantasy 16 exclusive, Final Fantasy 7 remake.
Can't wait for that one.
Until now, right? We got part 2 and part 3 that are coming. It's just they have all of these different partnerships. They have the COD license. They have the FIFA license. They're just doing stuff that Microsoft should have been doing. Even when you don't have games, from your own first party, you nourish and you go out and gain the relationships so you can have those games that they used to have. There is no reason we shouldn't have got a Rise 2 or a Sunset Overdrive 2, even after Insomniac was begging these guys to create another one. They still didn't do it. So I don't know, man. I don't know.
Hey, you can't tell
Sony
people
does
that
own the
because
IP now.
the funny thing is, though, you can go back and look this up. Ted Price from Insomniac was like, we'd love to make a Sunset 2. It's up to Microsoft and Phil Spencer. And Phil Spencer was like, yeah, we'd love to do a Sunset 2, we just need them to want to do it. And it's like, it's the same thing with Alan Wake 2, right?
Yep.
How many times has Phil, and you can Google this, Phil Spencer was like, well, they would need to want to do it. And then you have Remedy saying, we'd love to do it, but Microsoft owned the rights to publish it. And then, they did give the rights back. But it's just one of those things where Microsoft has had plenty of opportunity in the generation. Before Sony bought Insomniac, they could have had Sunset Overdrive 2 on the Xbox platform. Hell, that could have even after Sony bought them, if that was already a deal signed, that could have been a deal that launched the next Xbox, right? Yep. They never bothered with that. They never bothered with anything new. How many times have people been begging for like a new Killer Instinct? That was one of the reasons I bought an Xbox One. I saw Killer Instinct come back. You have people like Maximilian, one of the biggest YouTubers, fighting game YouTubers, do a whole thing where he gets this stuff trending on Twitter, and Phil Spencer doesn't even acknowledge it. You know what I mean? Like, they could easily do a Killer Instinct. That could have been a launch title for the next console. They could have done it almost like they did the first one, where they have 6 characters and then add to it or whatever, but they didn't even bother to do that. It's like, sometimes you just kind of scratch your head and kind of wonder what the hell they're doing. As a fan, it just is a little bit frustrating. Like, I understand that 3 to 5 years from now that it might be all right, but it's like, for me right now, that's a little bit harder. I don't want to be in my mid 40s or 50s by the time these games come out. I think that's kind of ridiculous. And the fact is that they didn't plan stuff better. And, how is it that Sony could have arguably one of the best exclusive years ever last year with the PS4, even though it's like the end of the generation, and still have stuff for launch and still have stuff for the first year of your new console? Like, if they can do it, certainly somebody with the means of Microsoft could have done it. And I realize they bought studios, but again, there are a lot of IP floating around that they could have went and inquired about and probably got a game made. Look, you don't have to do a Titanfall 1, in my opinion, was far better than Titanfall 2, the multiplayer part. Do a Titanfall 3 like Titanfall 1. Great multiplayer like that. Do something amazing. I don't understand their thinking process most of the time. It's like clearly they're geared after something else completely these days. You know what I mean? Like they're after, I think, people's casual dollars. You know what I mean? And the funny thing is the casuals don't spend money like the hardcore do. There's more of them. But like, for instance, I bought most of my third-party games on Xbox. I have over 1,100 games on my Xbox right now. Most of those are, exactly. And, most of my, and a lot of them are multi-plat, obviously. I haven't bought any. I've only bought one, I think, this generation. And like, they're going to get less and less of my money in that regards because they're not taking it seriously. Where Sony, I would just buy the exclusives and the VR stuff. Now there's getting my dollars for the multi-plats too. So, again, Microsoft are the ones that, have to vote with mine. They'll be fine. Right? They'll be fine. They don't give a shit about me, but I'm just voting with my wallet. If you're not going to put stuff out there that I like, then I'm not going to support your platform.
Yeah, it's funny, crap, because a lot of people think you're always capping and shit, right? But you know what? To be honest with you, like I told people before, if Sony was doing the same thing that Xbox was doing and vice versa, I would literally fucking start talking shit about PlayStation and their whole ecosystem because I'm so invested, just like you, 1,100 games, right? You get to a point where you're invested so much where you just want to see spectacular things come out. And there's this guy on here, Reese Rudder. He's saying that, well, there's more money to buy more studios. Okay, but that's the thing. The thing is that what I would love to see Microsoft do is actually build a studio from the ground up and then, work their way up there. But as of far right now, you can buy studios, but then these games are not being made. You're going to have to wait like 2 or 3, maybe 4 years just for a game to fucking come out. Fuck that shit. We already have a launch up coming up for PlayStation, so we'll be good this year with Ragnarok, Horizon Zero Dawn. What else? Kena Spirit of Bridges. That's coming out. Returnal is just about to come out not too long from now. They pushed it back like a month, I think, but that's about it. Yeah, so
many amazing games, and you just can't wait.
Yeah, fuck that. I don't want to wait, man. Shit, I want my shit day one. Not just day one, but I like that there's releases coming in. You know what I mean?
Like, that's the difference between us and them. If we had the power to buy that game before day zero, in the sense of literally 1 month before release, we would do it. We're gamers. They just play console wars.
Let's face it. They play Phil Spencer. He's the guy. He's
no comment.
He's the guy that they adore and they love. And
you just look at it, Jay. You saw it right on the IGN podcast, where the guy's like, he was talking about the 100% price increase, and he's like, I'm fine with that. He's like, he goes, I'd rather a increase all up front like that. I love Phil Spencer. The dude literally says, "Oh my god!" You're like, what are you doing, guy?
Listen,
bro, that motherfucker was straight up capping, and he had a fucking shirt that said Xbox on it. I'm like, what the fuck? And just the way he sounded didn't even sound real. It's almost like he was writing, probably reading Phil Spencer's script or some shit like that, like through the monitor.
But here's the thing: there's a lot of Xbox guys that are like that. They don't the games come out, they don't support them, they don't buy them, even when it's free on Game Pass. They don't engage with them. Didn't we see the Gears 5 Hive Busters? The engagement on that thing was like 1% of the people actually completed the game, played and complete the game.
Yeah.
And it's like you can't really, in some respects, you can't fault Phil Spencer for not delivering or for doing what he's doing when the fan base didn't support the stuff that they originally did, right?
Wait. If you guys can remind me, like, how low was the percentage for Hive Busters?
1.9%. 1.9%.
Yeah,
and the demo and the DLC is literally 4 hours,
it's
think,
free
right?
in Game Pass.
And it's 4 hours, so it's not something you need a lot of time to play. And now let's compare.
So what else are you playing? Like, where else are you spending your time?
Yeah, I mean, even The Last of Us just hit 60%.
I was about to go to the last.
Out of 100, 120 million PlayStations out there.
Yeah.
60% completion rate of The Last of Us 2.
Yeah, The Last of
And,
Us
and,
2
and that's
is
at
60,
$65. That's at $65, right? Per pop. No Game Pass, no free, no nothing. You had to pay for this. But a game that is free and the service don't get played. So it's like and it's great. You know, it's a showcase for the X Series X and the PC. So I don't get it. So this is why I say that Phil Spencer just needs to come out with his own Xbox exclusive game because they'll buy that shit up. They love Phil, man. They love Phil.
Yeah, I mean, and to be honest too, like the Last of Us 2, like completion rate could actually be higher than that because not everybody has PlayStation Plus, and you need that to actually sink in your trophies and stuff like that. So
Yes.
it could be higher. Who knows?
Yeah.
But,
well,
yeah.
it won Game of the Year, and it's the most awarded game ever. Is it? Yeah. It beat out The Witcher 3 for
Witcher
getting the
3.
most awards. So, yeah, that's good stuff. But again, that goes back to why an additional $10 price increase for some games is not such a big deal when you're getting the quality, right? You see it's worth it versus you're asking me to pay $120 a year just to play online on top of paying for Game Pass that doesn't really, for whatever it is, I don't know, man. I don't know what that fan base wants at this point in time.
At J-Dub, let's not forget though, in the top 3 for the most awarded games, it is The Last of Us Part 2 and The Last of Us. So they got 2 games up there. Fuck that. I don't give a shit if I have to pay $10.
Wait. On top, I mean, and that's just those 2. But if you think about it, you still got your Uncharted 4. You still got,
I meant top 3, like most awards. 3, you got Naughty Dog. I mean, you got The Last of Us Part 2 as number 1, The Witcher 3, and then you had The Last of Us.
And The Last of Us, yeah, you're right. For the most awarded games.
I would say one thing. I've trying to talk a little for a while, but my mic
sorry
acting. No. My mic was having an issue. My thing is, look at The Last of Us, and they tried so hard to downplay that game success. It have literally 66% completion rate, the highest of all time. It's like I'm not sure if it's all time or not, but it's very high. I think it's the highest when it comes to PlayStation. I think it's the highest when it comes to PlayStation.
And you know what's weird, Omar? Like I'm not gonna cut you off just for a little bit. The thing is too is that if you notice that most people that are bashing on the game, they say the same shit over and over again, like they're parrots, like pretty much they're parrots. They'll like repeat what somebody else says. The game is the story's trash, bullshit. Shut the fuck up. You probably didn't even play the game.
They don't have their own thinking.
Well, if you ask them why the story is bad, they don't know, or they give you like a secondhand thing that ended up not being wrong.
Yeah.
Ended up being wrong. So yeah, it's like it's not surprising. It's just a little bit weird that so many people just had a problem with it, and it's like they didn't have a problem with the thing I hear a lot is, oh well, it went woke or it did this or it did that. It's like listen, look at Gears 5. First of all, if you want to talk about going woke. But it's like they're not ready to handle that. I mean, they dropped Of War to casualize it. I mean, there's a lot. I mean, I could go on and on about stuff, and that's an way more established franchise than The Last of Us. You know what I mean? Or they killed the beloved character. Well, shit got real. You know what I mean? Joel wasn't a good guy. You know, like you play he like that whole. It's called The Last of Us. It's not called Happy People Fun Time Endings. You know what I mean? I'm just being real.
They worship Joel, though. It's almost insane.
Well, but here's the thing, right? And for the guys that who are enamored with The Last of Us 1, there's a reason you love Joel and Ellie for 7 years, right? You had 7 years to sit there and say this is the best game ever. This is the best story ever. I love these guys. It ended the way that a happy movie is supposed to end. Well, and Neil Druckmann turned that shit upside down on his head with the second game that it showed you reality, right? Your dream La La Land, that good feeling that you had at the first game is turned upside down when you realize they were actually the scumbags. So it's
but
too.
They did that. They did that in the first game, though.
But you didn't pay attention. You never paid attention to the little details in the first game to know that, right?
That's on them then.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people didn't realize, right? After Joel's daughter died or whatever, after she got shot, and some time moved on, what was Joel doing? Joel was fucking dealing illegal shit. He was doing some shady shit. He was
Indeed.
Yeah,
shady
yeah, yeah,
folks.
yeah,
To the
yeah.
point,
You didn't
to the
realize
point,
that.
If I could
to
throw
the
this in
point
there,
where
I could
Tommy
throw,
literally
Yes,
started to having nightmares. He
yes,
had to leave him because of that.
I
yep,
But
mean, and
they,
just to throw this out there, Omar, like Tess ended up saying to Joel, like, we are shitty people. And then Joel, when he was in the
yep,
truck with Ellie, and there was a what's it called? A hunter right outside. He was trying to pretend that he was damaged, but he wanted Joel and Ellie to get out of the car so he can kill them, right?
yeah,
Ellie ended up asking, how the fuck do you know that he was faking? And he's like, well, I've been on both sides. So
yeah,
yes, Joel has killed innocent people.
yeah.
He's
of
not.
Well,
course.
the mere fact that even if you bypass all of that and you go to the very ass end of The Last of Us Part One, in that hospital, saying that Joel had to make a decision about humanity. He chose to save a little girl over humanity, right? That's a big decision that's weighing on everybody. And I know everyone would love to say, "Well, I'll choose the little girl. I would do the same thing." But you're killing billions of people and not, fixing humanity over that. So that in itself was a big thing that people didn't really realize. And
Yeah.
The Last of Us Two just revealed it took off the band-aid off of all the wounds and the scars, and it showed you who the people really were. So I mean,
Yeah,
Yep.
before I comment on that, what's it called? Crap Gamer, your best friend, Games Trailers, he's here and shit.
Yeah.
He
No.
wants to say hi
Oh
to you.
yeah.
he want to bet you some more. He want to make another bet, crap.
He wants to bet that Halo 5 is going to win Game of the Year this year.
Yeah.
I guarantee.
Yeah.
Find this dude on Twitter. He will bet you that. He'll bet you a game. He'll bet you $100. He'll guarantee you that Halo
And he
5
keeps
will win
losing.
Game of the Year this year. He'll tell you.
keeps
Look,
losing.
he does. He bought me Death Stranding on PlayStation 4 because he bet me that Gears 5 would get a 95 Metacritic, and you don't have to be Nostradamus to figure out that Gears 5 was never going to get a 95 Metacritic. You don't see that a fifth game in an entry in a series do that. It's just not happening.
Hey, you know what's funny, Crap? I remember when he actually paid you. I was actually watching you live, and he's like, "Oh, Game Trailers actually sent me the money for the code for days Death Stranding and shit." I started laughing my ass off. But hey, man,
Hell
dude,
yeah.
as long as he paid up his debt, I mean, he paid off his bet. I mean, fuck it, dude. Much credit to him.
Yeah. I
thought of
muted
him all the
him.
time.
I muted him. Like sometimes I'll go and check. Like I see people respond to him in my timeline and then I'll go check what he says. But the
Like
reason
me.
why I muted him, like I don't mind having a discussion about games with people. The part that I mind was he just it's like arguing to a brick wall because he wouldn't admit that stuff like Wasteland 3 or Ori 2 were AA games. He kept on just throwing these games at me. Like, oh, what about Ori 2? What about Wasteland 3? I'm like, look, Wasteland 3 was a Kickstarter game. It's a AA game and it's a multiplayer. Same as Ori 2, really. I'm like, they could be good games. I'm not saying they're bad games, but they're not AAA games. They're done, and he wouldn't. So I had to mute him. I know he finally went back about a week ago and admitted that they were AA games. Like he totally went back on everything he said previously and was like, "Okay, I admit it, they're AA." I still haven't unmuted him, but at least he admitted it. You know what I mean? So like, at least you got to give a little bit. Like those aren't huge titles, man. We're talking like, why is it such a thing to know what a AAA game is? It's like, I'm not saying AA games are bad, but AAA game, Call of Duty, God of War, Uncharted, Halo, Gears, AAA games, man. I like those games. There's nothing wrong with them, but like people have they think like stuff like Wasteland 3, like how the hell could you think, or Gears Tactics, man, look, it looks like a goddamn phone game. Right? It's like it was made by Splash Damage. I get it. It's not. There was no ad campaign for it. There was no nothing. It's just this little game that was on PC because Microsoft's trying to kiss ass, and then they decided to port it over to Xbox because they knew they had fuck all for everybody to play.
It's an RTS, right?
Yeah. No. Yeah. No. Is it a real? I think it is a strategy game. It's like XCOM.
Yeah.
Those aren't exactly games that are known for like PC or console people, you know what I mean? So for me personally, I just felt like, by the way, MLB The Show will be the first AAA. Like maybe Xbox fans will finally get a first taste of a good game. You know what I mean? Yeah. See, Reese, I'm not saying Wasteland 3 is bad. I'm just saying it's AA, and it's not my type of thing.
Is that still being made by San Diego Studio?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All right, go ahead, Crack Gamer. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm just saying, yeah, you know what I mean? Like, well, part of the deal was Sony had signed a contract with Major League Baseball. MLB, the licenses, they probably saw stuff like NBA and NFL get way more money because it's multiplat. So, you know what I mean? And so that was part of the deal. I heard, well, what was rumored was EA was trying to get the license so that they could do what they did to Madden and make an exclusive baseball game. So, thankfully, Sony, because the show is a good game. It's just like, it's a real simulator, man. Like baseball games they just tend to drag on for me. Like I bought a few show games and they're good, but it's like, man, when you get into your season, if you're playing a whole like a whole 162 games or whatever, Jesus, when you get into like game 30 or 40, you just start to, wow, you know, like those games take hours, you know? So it's just one of those things. But anyway, man, I appreciate you having me here. I got to get out of here real quick, but I really do appreciate you guys. J-Dub, nice doing another show with you. Thank you, Game in Despair. Karaba, nice meeting you. I'll catch you guys all later. Thanks for having me. You guys hit the like button, all that kind of good stuff. See you guys later. Peace.
Peace out. Yeah, my bad. Crack Gamer he had to leave early because he has to go pick up his kid.
Yeah.
No problem.
I've purchased every MLB The Show ever since the Vita.
Damn, even on the Vita?
I still have MLB The Show 13 or 12. No, 12 on the Vita. So I'm a big baseball person, you know, go Astros, but the game is impeccable. It's worth it. If you're an Xbox guy, you know, go and buy and support the game. It's once you play the game, you'll realize why EA and 2K and the rest of the other people got out of baseball, because their games paled in comparison to it gives you everything you need. Great graphics, great gameplay, it's full simulation, it has home run derby and everything else that you like. Give it a shot.
You think they're gonna support it? Let's be real. And I'm gonna be super.
If we can get 4 or 5 people, you know, to buy, hey, that's an improvement, you know. Especially because it's $70. We know they ain't buying it, but hey, you know, you never know.
Real talk. Do you ever expect this game to go to Game Pass?
Nope.
I don't see it going to Game Pass either. Nope. Hey, Guap. Yo, J-Dub, I got a question from you, probably from Guapzilla. He says, will reality break in if digital?
Hello?
Yeah, he broke up.
You broke up. What did you say again?
I think he broke up.
Says the show 20.
We need to wait for him to come back. Yeah, we can hear you now.
We hear you now. You
broke up.
Okay, gotcha. Guapzilla said, will reality break in if Digital Foundry says that the show 21 runs best on the Xbox Series X, which is probably not going to happen because it is a PlayStation game.
I hope it does. I really do, low key, because
let
me tell you why. Because the entertainment on Twitter and the fighting and the argument, I mean, that would be hilarious. Like I'd love for that.
How did you turn into the persona? When I say persona, in the sense of people believe that persona that you play, they don't know the real you that play games, like actual games.
Well, I think it started as a transformation. I was originally Kratos. For a lot of you guys that know me,
you're Kratos?
Yes, I'm Kratos. And so I said years back, but this was like in 2016. 2016 when Sony showed God of War originally at the event. When he came out of the shadows, that my persona, I became Kratos. And I said from that day, this game will be Game of the Year whenever it launches. Well, 2018 it won Game of the Year. And so from that point, I decided to retire the Kratos Munter and then come with J-Dub. And J-Dub was that, you know, antagonizing troll on Twitter or whatever. But then a lot of guys, you know, they get shocked. They see me on, you know, Pro Xbox podcast. They see me on PlayStation podcast. They see me posting gameplay on my Switch, on my Xbox, PC, PlayStation.
With your kids. That's
It-
okay.
Yeah, yeah. So they see a different variety of stuff. Some of them, the diehard fanboys, right? They think that it's that what you see is what you get. That's like They think that I just hate Xbox, and it's like, dude, I don't hate Xbox. I want Xbox to be better. I've owned every single Xbox platform. I still own all of my OG Xbox, my OG Xbox 360. I still own the games, everything else. Even from time to time, if you go and check out my YouTube channel, I do retro weekend. So it's a lot of weekends I'll do retro weekend where I'll play the OG Xbox. I'll stream like Halo, the original Halo on the console, and some of the other games that I have that was from that time. But a lot of them they don't want to hear that. They want to hear that Phil Spencer is great and that Xbox is the greatest. And I asked those guys, okay, well, boot up a game and play with me or whatever, and they never replied back.
It's funny
So,
though because I
Yeah,
talk
I'm
about
pretty
shit to
sure.
bots too, but like for me, I don't hate Xbox in general. Just like just in general, I don't. I wanted to do better as well. I mean, I'm playing the medium for fucking
yeah.
for Christ's sake. You know what I'm saying? So like I'll give the games a chance and stuff like that. Just it is what it is. Go ahead, Omar.
No problem. I watched Jada play what's called that Grounded
Yeah,
on
yeah,
stream,
yeah.
and that was a chore to watch. Not because you're boring or something like that. No, the game is boring, not boring. So my question to you is, eh, uh, how are you able to, like, we both know these are not good game in the sense of they need more time in the oven, they need more content and all that jazz, or the gameplay is just simply not fun. How do you survive that? Is playing with your kids something that makes you enjoy a game more, or you just do it for, yeah, to prove people that you do play games and all that jazz?
No, because throughout all the hoopla and the tweets and the stuff that I do online, I am one of those. I've always been those people where, yeah, you tell me, if a game looks boring, it looks like it's not great or whatever, I'll still give it a try. I'm still going to play it just to see, hey, is this something I can get into? Um, this last generation taught me a lot because there was a lot of games that I didn't even they were never on my radar. Nobody ever brought them up to me. I just thought they were just trash, right? But I actually started exploring some of these games, and I realized, hey man, this I can get into this, right? Because you get tired of playing the same stuff. If you're a gamer and all you play is 2K and Madden and stuff like that, gaming can get boring because you find out that you're in a little small bubble. But then when you venture out and start playing a lot of other different diverse of games, like for example, never really played a Persona game. Last generation Persona 5 was my first Persona game. Loved it. It's amazing, right? So it opened my mind up to exploring different things. So then I started playing Dragon Quest Heroes 2. Guess what? That was my first Dragon Quest game. So and then I started venturing out, and then you expand your gaming. So not everything is just so shallow and where it's like I just want a shooter. It's like there's 2 million shooters out there. Like, don't you ever get tired of playing shooters? So I venture out to a lot of role playing games, a lot of different kind of things, especially on PC. It's just a big, huge variety, a lot of different RTSs. So that's why I gave those games a chance because you just never know. It may be trash to somebody else, but it may be like the best thing to you. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
one of my biggest games I have probably the most playing time of probably almost any game, believe it or not, is State of Decay 1. State of Decay 1 is a game that I spent a lot of time in. And I always said to myself, man, if this had multiplayer and if you can set up different communities, like you and your friend can have this community and you can, defend it, and somebody else over there have their community, they can defend it and you guys can trade and stuff. So when they came out with State of Decay 2, I was just so ecstatic. I was like, damn, I hope they do it right. I hope they really do it the way it needs to be done, and they didn't. They didn't do it the way it needed to be done. Yes, they added multiplayer, but it just wasn't done right. And I'm hoping and praying that State of Decay 3 will be done right, but we don't know. But I don't know, man. It's just a vast array of diverse games, and whether you like it or not, just try it. This is why I had to try the medium. This is why I wanted to try the Falconeer, right? I wanted to try, like you said, Grounded, Battletoads, Bleeding. Yeah, we can keep going on and on and on. All these games, I got to at least try them. I got to give them a shot.
And I feel kind of bad about that sometimes because like I look at games like Grounded or like Sea of Thieves or just these little small
Wait,
titles. Like let's just say it's
Grounded is a
not
good game.
no. Well, let's just say it. Let's just say that these people are gonna look past it, right? Like for me, I like to give games chance, right? So eventually I'll get on Grounded. Eventually I'll check out something like Sea of Thieves or Falconeer, whatever the fuck it is, because I feel bad for the developers. They probably were working hard as fuck, right? And they're like, man, hopefully they like it. And then you have people trashing on it. And I try not to get involved with that too much and shit because I'm like, all right, you know what, fuck it, let me give it a chance.
Well, to that point, as a developer, and listen, I'm not a developer at all, right? I'm just a consumer. I'm just a gamer.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm also a businessman, right? And so you have to be self-aware about your product and what you're selling. You can't be out there thinking that your game is the best game ever and it's number one. You have to look and see what your competition is. How are
Yeah.
you going to market this thing? If you're making a game and you play it, it's shout out to David Jaffe, but we had him on the podcast a couple of days
That
ago.
was
He
insane.
Yeah, he's a guy. We were kind of going back and forth. I love David Jaffe, man. He's a really cool guy.
Yeah, he's a cool dude.
I mean, he can't help be cool, right? He's the creative God of War and Twisted Metal.
Twisted Metal.
But
Yeah, who can forget
I
Twisted Metal?
love Twisted Metal
When I
and God of
looked
War,
at
of course.
when I looked at when you look at games like Twisted Metal and God of War, those are the games that he's known for. But his last game was Drawn to Death, right? And I
Mhm.
kind of said to myself, at what point was he not self-aware that this is not really what a lot of gamers would want?
Yeah.
Maybe he got caught up in, well, this is the game that I think I would want. And you gotta say you have to take yourself out of the equation because you may think it's fun, but if millions and millions of other people don't think it's fun, they're not gonna fuck with it. And that's what happened, right? Pardon my French.
Mhm.
That's what
I
happened.
mean, it happens though, bro. Like for instance, I got a chance to play Drawn to Death, and I thought it was fun myself, right? But sometimes I think these developers maybe depends where their time frame, when they were born, where the fuck that they think that these ideas are cool, like the passion project, Grounded and stuff like that, and they don't really look into it. They're like, man, I just hope it sells. But then people. But the thing is that there's one thing that I hate about gamers and shit. They'll look at one game and think just because it looks cartoonish that it's shit. That's the biggest bullshit I ever fucking get from gamers, man. Dude, I
Of
still
course.
play like 16-bit games. You know what I'm saying?
Well,
Yeah.
listen, some of the best games out there are the cartoony games. I mean, I'm a big advocate for games like Concrete. Concrete Genie,
That game was great.
Sackboy,
Gravity Rush
Ratchet,
2.
Ratchet and Clank.
Sackboy, yeah.
Going, right? We can keep going, Sackboy.
Yeah.
We can keep going. There's a
I
bunch
mean,
of now.
try to go outside PlayStation.
Yeah.
That would be a little bit difficult.
Well, because here's the thing, right? You can have a cartoony game, but the quality still has to be there. It can be a realistic game, but it can be shit quality, and it's going to get the
mean-
same results, right? So you have to start with a foundation of quality, and that's one thing that Microsoft don't have. They don't have a quality control over games.
No, they don't.
They think, okay, well, this game it looks good, it performs good, it's going to be good. No, it has to have quality control. You have to have people play this game and say, look, man, would you spend $30 on this? Would you spend 40, 50, 60 bucks on it? And in whatever answer you get, you have to accept those results. Nobody's going to want to spend $60, $70 on Grounded or Bleeding Edge or anything else like that. You gotta sometime. And shout out to Sony for what they did with Destruction All Stars. By the way, at midnight.
Oh yeah, that's coming out tomorrow, right?
At midnight. So
I'm actually waiting for myself to get a PlayStation 5. I'm that close, and then I will need to play catch up. But I'm definitely gonna try that Destruction Altar.
Hey Omar, man, hopefully you get one, bro. You don't want missing out, my dude.
Exactly. But games like that, right? It was kind of controversial because it's like $70. Some people were I heard the different sides of the coin. I don't think this game don't look like it's worth $70. It's cartoony, it's this and that, and then other people like myself, right? I'm like, man, this may be that Twisted Metal meet Fortnite meet Rocket League type thing.
Yeah.
This may end up being huge. So but $70 is going to limit your install base, up
Yeah.
front with a game like that. So they made it free, and guess what? More people are going to have access to it. More people are going to play it, and the better chances of that game being successful. Now, I
Hey.
want to say one thing to game trailers. He said, "So you're J Dub saying so Forza 4 is not quality game. Forza 4 is a great game.
It's a
It's
quality
great
game.
quality. The problem
Yeah.
is it's an old ass fucking game. What have you done for me lately? We have a next generation console. We can't keep playing that. You can't get credit for the shit you got credit for 3 years ago, right? People keep running back to Gears and Forza in Halo, but those games are old now. Like you don't get credit for that. You can't get credit that you already got credit for from last generation. It's just like Sony right now trying to get credit for God of War, even though that game dropped in 2018. You can't get kudos for that game on PS5 right now. It's already old. You've got your trophies, your awards, your accolades. Move on. You need more than that. And
Yeah.
so that's why I think people like Game Trailers, he kind of sells Microsoft short and Xbox short with just saying, well, we have Halo, Gears, and Forza. We don't need anything else. And it's like, how many of people are actually just playing those games on a consistent basis now? You spent the last 3 years playing them. What else are you playing?
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
this is why Hive Busters is not being played, right? This is why the Medium is not being played. This is why other games, newer games, are not being played because people want to say, well,
Wow.
Forza
Sorry
Horizon.
sorry to interrupt you, but this is just in. Google shut down its internal Stadia game studios. The
Oh,
Stadia service continues and will see more third-party games, but focus is now on partnering with other companies.
Oh shit! Can you post that in the DM right here?
Sure, no problem.
Oh man, I need that. Oh
That's
man,
painful.
that was the biggest fear. This is why developers did not want to.
Where can I post it? I don't think I can.
In the chat,
Uh,
it says right here in the private chat.
oh
Yeah,
yeah, oh yeah.
yeah, you post that there.
all right, guys.
That's big
Yep.
news.
No, but I get what you're saying, though, J Dub. I completely agree with you 100%. But kudos to some of us right here where we actually get a chance to actually try out smaller games or small titles and stuff like that. I'm not gonna have somebody tell me, "Oh yeah, gaming is fair. Why are you spending $60 on this game or $40 in that game? It doesn't look as good." Like, don't tell me what I should buy. Like, the thing is, I like to give people a chance. You know what I'm saying? And then
Yeah.
it's the same thing with PlayStation, right? With PlayStation, I buy all their exclusives, right? And why? Because I want a fucking what's it called? A sequel or something else different. I mean,
Yeah.
look at Naughty Dog. They're about to make a new sci-fi game and stuff like that. I don't want to rely on the same titles like Halo, Forza, Gears, and shit. I want something new. You know what I mean?
Like
But that's where money
yeah,
goes.
like one of PlayStation new title is Horizon Zero Dawn, and I love it.
Yeah.
Like I don't understand the notion that you're not allowed, and I'm talking about developers. You're not allowed to venture out. You must only make gear, make Forza, make this, make that. No, like am I hyped for God of War, Ragnarok, and Horizon Forbidden West? Yes, but would have I been okay if Gorilla Game made a different IP? I would be totally okay with it because look what they did with Horizon Zero Dawn.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also one more thing, when you have your team working on one game only over and over and over again, your team becomes stale. Your team starts losing motivation and would
I
be
mean,
like, I need something different.
yeah, definitely. I could get what you're saying when, it means it starts to become stale because then these developers have to be like, man, what else can I do now? You know what I mean? And you don't want to get to that point. If you get to that point, then you might as well create something new. But if you guys got anything to say up, probably gonna wrap it up and stuff like that.
That's it. That's it for me. Again, I'm not about to sit around. Wait. What? Hold on. Breaking news. Just breaking news. Damn, I mean, okay. God of War 2018 PS5 patch is coming tomorrow, free to
Let's
download.
go.
60 frames a second, 4K. Oh man, this
Wait,
is
can you tell me the
Haptic-
hey, J-Dub, can you tell me the patch notes? I'm not reading it right now.
Would they make use of the DualSense or not?
4K 60. And hold on, there's a bunch of other stuff.
4K
going on here.
60?
Yeah, 4K.
Right.
Um,
Okay.
Hey, wasn't I literally just talking about that?
Yeah, actually you were, I think.
literally said that. Jesus.
But the thing is, I'm really not excited for what's happening now is in the industry, and I'm not talking about that $70 price hike. Like that's nothing to me. I'm more talking about how developers are now feel emboldened to put out unfinished games and finish them later, or even starting services and cut them off. Look what now with Stadia. Like, online is not the future, and I really hope the developers realize that before it's too late.
Yeah, I mean that's an issue that I've had for the longest time when people release unfinished games. I mean, like, I say this all the time. If Cyberpunk, I mean, if The Last of Us Part 2 came out in the same condition that Cyberpunk came out, man, I would be bashing at Naughty Dog the whole time. They get no free pass and stuff, even though I love them so much, my favorite developers. But yeah, dude,
Why do you love
they need
them?
something about it.
Why
Huh?
do you love them? Because they put out great games.
There's
Great
games that I
games.
love. There's
Biased
games
or
that I love
something like
personally.
that.
I think, okay, put it this way. Like when I first, so back in PS1, PS2 days, I used to buy a ton of games, right? I don't care if they were single player. But then when I went to PS3, I've been playing Call of Duty for probably 4 years straight, right? And then eventually I heard about a game called The Last of Us. And then when I got into it, I'm like, wow, man, that's like something I've never experienced before in a video game. The story just kind of grasps it to you, and then you're waiting for the whole second one. And I haven't had a game do that to me. I play a shit ton of games too, bro. But
Yeah.
Last of Us is just kind of hard to explain. It's almost like in its own category, to be honest with you. I can't really compare it to anything else.
Yep, I agree. I 100% agree with that statement. And I love Infamous. I love God of War. I love Uncharted. But there is something that's really unique about The Last of Us.
Yeah, definitely. All right, man, guys. That was a great show. I had fun with my main dudes, J-Dub, Karaba, and a Crap Gamer, even though he just left. He had to go pick up his son. J-Dub, where you can follow you at J-Dub City.
Yeah, you guys can find me at JDubCity16 on Twitter. You can also go to my YouTube channel, which is JDub for you. You'll find me streaming Switch games, PC games, PlayStation, Xbox, Luna, and rest in peace, Google Stadia. Yeah.
You already started, don't you?
Hey, hey, J-Dub, thanks for coming on, you fucking troublemaker and shit.
Thank
I'm
you,
probably
man.
see some posts from you. Yeah, what's up
Thanks
with,
for coming on. This was fun.
yeah, Karaba, what's up with you, bro?
People can find me on Carbon Scorpion on Twitter.
I think you said that fast as fuck.
Sorry?
You said that
Yeah.
fast as fuck. Yeah.
I
Just
know.
spell it out. Yeah. Oh, well, they could see it right now in the fucking chat.
Kaharaba_Chihab on Twitter.
Gotcha. All right, my dudes. Man, thanks for rocking out with us, man. Thanks, J-Dub, and thanks, Karaba, and thanks, Crab Gamer, man. Peace out.
Take it easy, brother.
Later.